can hear you. You can hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Off you go.
Thanks very much. Good morning to you, Robin. How are you doing?
Good morning, very well, thank you.
Only one place to start, really. Have you and the coaching staff sat through the whole 63 minutes of the Razzie video?
No, so I hope you got a better second question.
I'm sure it has been discussed, though.
No, we had a good meeting with the referees yesterday, and as Ben O'Keefe said himself, he said, listen, we're aware there's a lot of stuff out there in social media, etc., but that's not going to affect anything, you know, so that's just a sideshow, to be honest with you. But we had a positive discussion with the referees. Everybody realises they're in a tough place, you know, they got a tough job to do. But we were really happy with Nick Berry last Saturday, and you know, I don't think it'll be any different this weekend either.
It's something that's completely unprecedented, a director of rugby or a head coach taking to social media and unloading on the officiating like that. Do you think there needs to be some sort of sanction for it?
Well, that's up to World Rugby, really. You know, it's not for me to comment on that. The only thing I have done, I've read the book Yarnia, which gives you an insight from a South African perspective from the 1974 Lions trip. So they lost the first test, and it's a book by Dougal MacDonald. So that was enough of an insight from a South African point of view for me, basically, with regards to, you know, what the second test means to them as a nation. They're a very proud nation, and they'll be looking to come out all guns blazing. So that's what we're expecting, and that's what I've been preparing for, really. So anything else is you know, it's not in my domain, really.
I'll add that to my reading list. But you know, rugby it prides itself on having respect for the referee and respect for the officials, doesn't it? Does this kind of undermine and demean all that?
Well, I've said previously, you know, in the Rainbow Cup, where they were trialling the laws of being able to challenge decisions on the field with the captain, my own personal view was it brought out that element of scenes that we don't like to see, you know, where you're openly challenging decisions by the referee. So, you know, it's not really my cup of tea. And, you know, as you rightly say, traditionally, rugby's prided itself on being able to rise above that, show respect to the officials, no backchat, etc. You know, right from a very young age, players are taught that you can't speak back to the referee. So hopefully that'll continue, to be honest with you. But like I said, we had a very positive meeting with the three officials yesterday, and just looking forward to the game on Saturday.
Thanks very much, Robin. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Robin, it's Andrew from TalkSport Radio. Can I just start with Dan Biggar? Is he okay? I mean, I know you're the forwards coach, but can you confirm when he started training this week? Reason being I asked that, Alan Wynne said something yesterday about Dan training all week, which might have just been a turn of phrase, but some of the concussion concern groups got quite worried about that. When did Dan start work again?
Yeah, so I'm not going to deviate from this letter I got here, really, to read out in preparation for a question of that manner. So Dan Biggar will complete his graduated return to play today with his final contact training session ahead of the match on Saturday. He has been symptom-free since his post-match head injury assessment and has remained symptom-free throughout the process. He has been monitored daily by 2 consultant sports physicians and has also been reviewed by an independent concussion consultant. This process has been successfully utilised to allow for independent verification of the medical management undertaken in all concussion cases during the tour in South Africa to date. All players will have an individualised and highly integrated approach to their management, with a multitude of factors being taken into consideration. Our players' health remains the absolute priority, and we continue to deliver the highest level of care independent of any match, regardless of its importance. So hopefully there's enough in there for you to be satisfied with.
Thank you very much, Robin. That's absolutely perfect. South Africa obviously have gone back to a 6-2 bench this week. In real rugby terms, what does that mean? What does that give them that they didn't have last week for you?
No, they'll be aiming for the same impact that they had during the World Cup. We were happy with the way our replacements performed on Saturday. Negated the effect of the impact that their bench had historically and traditionally in the World Cup. So we'll be looking to do the same again. Again, I'm referring to that book I've just read, but they will go back to that physical nature. It's what they did in 1974 after losing that first test. There's the term inclim, which means climbing in, to climb into things, to get stuck in. So I'm sure that that's what they'll be looking to do on Saturday, to get stuck into us. So whether the 6-2 split on the bench reflects that, I'm sure it does. It's just a game to look forward to again.
Did you push to go 6-2 and go like for like, or do you feel you can cover that off with what you've got anyway?
Yeah, that's where, unfortunately, somebody like Hamish Watson has missed out, because Talupi Faletau offers a lot more versatility off the bench. He can cover more than one. He's not a specialist sort of open side, the same as Hamish. So because we're blessed with players of that calibre who can cover more than one position, we're able to cover those positions. But to date, I've been spoiled rotten on this tour. We've had even a 7-1 split during one game. So I've been satisfied on that front.
You weren't going to push it any further. The last tour to go one up but lose the series was 2001, which obviously was the tour that you were on. Have you been able to take anything from that tour? Maybe certain things to avoid this week, or maybe is it not relevant?
No, Maru Itoje brought it up in the week with regards to him being a little bit of a nose, his own words, with regards to looking at the history of the Lions, etc. And he made reference to it. So it has been raised, because you've got Neil Jenkins, Jason Leonard, and myself. They were there for the duration of that tour, So anything that we can draw on that experience, so that we make sure that it doesn't happen again. So I know that Maru in particular, he's had individual conversations with those two individuals. But I think there was definitely lessons to be learned from that tour 20 years ago that are still relevant today. So it has been brought to our attention.
Just finally from me, you mentioned the meeting with the officials yesterday. Maybe the one area that Razzie raised that I think maybe a lot of people would feel some sympathy and understanding of was the fact that if you ask for feedback, it seems to take quite a long time for it to arrive back. I mean, a meeting yesterday will have happened after virtually all of your preparation. Can you then tinker it? Does that feedback need to happen quicker and earlier in the week if it's to have any impact on you being able to change players' behaviours on the following match day weekend?
The only thing that I can bring up there really is I had a conversation with Mike Cron early on Tuesday morning, just surrounding the scrum. Now, Mike Cron is used as a consultant for World Rugby. He's a great sounding board. Everybody in World Rugby knows Mike from a scrummaging point of view anyway, in particular. So I was on the call with Mike for well over half an hour really, in order to gain his views on a couple of things that I was keen to find out on. So I can only speak from my own experience this week. Joel has been in touch with Warren with regards to some clips that he wanted clarity on as well. So the process hasn't been any different to what I've experienced in the past internationally. It was the same during the World Cup in 2019. I can only say that really happy with the way the week has gone, and we weren't surprised by anything that happened on Saturday with Nick Berry, and we had a good conversation with the referees yesterday. So we're generally happy with the way the process has gone this week.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Hey, Robin. Hi. You talked earlier about the book you read, which is helping you sort of prepare for what's coming tomorrow. Can you just give us an insight into what that taught you about the psychology of South Africa when they're in this position?
Well, it was just how much it meant to them. It's written by a player that he played in the game, and he was reflecting on it, all those years ago, to see how it actually looked, going back and looking at some tapes, etc. But that second test was given the title of the most important game in South African history. It was really built up, and he was looking back, reflecting on it, and all the pressure that were on them as players, really, with regards to what it meant to the nation, and etc. etc. So, and then it was reflected in all the changes they made with the selections, with the team. They made numerous changes to the team, and obviously just reflecting on a couple of things that happened on the field of play. Three Welshmen came out well, really, and Phil Bennett, Gareth Davis, and Mervyn Davis, with Gareth Edwards, and Mervyn Davis. So they lost heavily in that second test, but it just gives you a flavour of their mindset, of how much it means to them, how much the first test defeat hurt them. So it just gives you an insight into how they must be thinking and feeling at this moment in time, and how more determined they're going to be on Saturday in order to make sure that doesn't happen again. So we're going to have to raise our game. As happy as we were with the performance last Saturday, there's certain things that we need to improve on again, so that we don't give them any life at the beginning of this game on Saturday.
There've only been 2 successful tours to South Africa since the turn of the 20th century. What does that say about what you're trying to achieve tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, is it? It's and we're well aware of that. Warren has addressed the whole group this week with regards to how important this game is. And to be fair to the whole squad, even the non-23, again, you're asking them to really dig deep and put their own sort of personal ambitions to one side and just focus on putting together, preparing the team as well as they can. And again, this week I can't fault them. The preparations they've been very good, and they've been able to channel those frustrations, those disappointments of not being selected this week. So hopefully that'll put us in good stead for Saturday. Thank you.
Morning, Robin. Just a scrummaging question, please. When you're playing on a pitch that's going to cut up, that's going to struggle to take the force of those scrums, do you do anything different in preparation? Does it change how you approach those set pieces in the game? Because you're going to have props and locks slipping, and that can change. Obviously affect the referee's view. How do you prepare for it?
Yeah, no, we were disappointed with the first couple of exchanges we had in the scrum, but I think as you saw during the game, especially in the second half, everybody got to grips with that surface. You're right, it is pretty soft. It's more soft in certain areas of the field, so it's just constant messages with regards to trying to keep our feet under us a bit more. Making sure we get a good purchase with our studs into the ground. We saw a couple of instances where we just, after the hit, our feet just slipped back. So again, I think the referees, they made the right decisions. Sometimes it was just, listen boys, that's a slip, let's go again. So they're aware of that as well. The surface isn't great. However, it is possible to scrimmage on it, as we saw in the second half in particular, where you saw good competition at scrum time. So it'll be the same this week. I think obviously both packs are more than aware of that, but I don't think it's an excuse for numerous collapses. I think you may get one or two, as you always do, but following that, I think it'll be a good spectacle.
Did you get reassurance on that particular subject from the referees in the meeting yesterday, just that they're aware that the surface isn't necessarily as conducive to scrummaging?
No, it wasn't made a big thing of it, really. It's been a dry week here. It's going to be dry from here on into the game, so hopefully that'll help the pitch a little bit. But remembering how we scrummaged on the Millennium Stadium when you know, right at the very start when they were struggling to move the pallets around and get things bedded down. We were able to do that for a number of years. So I don't think it's going to be a big thing in the game, hopefully.
Cool, thank you.
Cheers.
Hi, Robin. However much the referees might want to kind of ignore the noise that's going around, it's going to be in their minds, and there must be an enormous amount of pressure now on Ben O'Keefe. Do you feel sorry for him in that regard, and you feel that even though he might not want to, it might subconsciously affect the decision he makes on Saturday?
No, I don't think he's professional enough. We're all professional enough. You know, listen, if I was on social media, if I wanted to go out and look for things, I'd be able to find them. But I don't do it. I'm not on social media, so that's just a different world to me. So it's there. Why go looking for it? It's just that it's been highlighted this week. It's been brought to everybody's attention, but you know it's always there. So, you know, get on with it.
As you mentioned before, are we in danger of kind of eroding some of the values that rugby's held dear over the centuries with all this stuff going on around criticising refs?
Well, only if it keeps being highlighted and brought to the surface. You know, there's a lot of things. I think you just, just leave that where it is and just focus on the game on Saturday. Hopefully it'll be a great spectacle again, a good contest. And we can forget about what's going on this week, so it doesn't detract from the actual spectacle, you know, because I know talking to a number of players and coaches here who've got family back home in Great Britain, you know, they said the amount of people go out there and they're just loving it with regards to, I know there's no supporters, but, you know, back home, everybody's, you know, making the most of it, really enjoying the contest, the challenge. So hopefully it'll be the same this weekend anyway, you know. But on Ben, listen, we've got no issues with. He's a top man, and you know, looking forward to working with him on Saturday.
Okay, cheers, Robin.
Thank you.
Hey Robin, cwbl yn Gymraeg os mae'n bosib. Fi'n gwybod bod ti'n awyddus I siarad am y rugby hun, ond jyst y mater fi yn y Gymraeg I ddechrau. Sorry. Sorry, mae rhywun jyst I dod I gerdded I ci. I ddechrau, mateb ar fideo rasu, yn amlwg mae'n awr o hyd yn penderfynu cwestiynu penderfyniadau'r dyfarnwr. Be yw'r mateb di gychwyn?
Ie, dwi'n ymwybodol, a da ni'n ymwybodol bod yna pethau allan na, ond nathon ni gyfarfod efo'r swyddogion, efo'r dyfarnwr ddoe, a oedd o'n just deud, but maen nhw'n ymwybodol beth sy'n allan na hefyd, ond dydy hynna ddim yn mynd I effeithio ar unrhyw benderfyniad sy'n mynd I gael ei wneud I Sadwrn. A da ni ffyddiog na fe hynna fydd pethau'n digwydd hefyd. Diolch yn lle fi I wneud unrhyw fath o sylwadau amdano beth sydd wedi cael ei ddeud. Dwi'n ymwybodol o beth sydd wedi cael ei ddeud anyway. Just gwybod bod rhywbeth allan yna gyd. Ond da ni just canolbwyntio ar y gêm a just canolbwyntio ar rhoi'r cyfle gorau posib I ni cael y fuddugoliaeth.
Be ti'n meddwl mae'n dweud ni am falle meddylfryd I Africa? Yn amlwg maen nhw'n angerddol am y peth a hefyd yn benderfynol o ennill rwythnos hon.
Ydy na, yn bersonol dwi newydd orffan llyfr sy'n mynd nôl I 1974 yn ystod taith y llewod, lle gollen nhw'r prawf cyntaf a mae'r llyfr wedi cael ei sgwennu gan chwaraewr oedd yn cymryd rhan am y tro cyntaf yn yr ail brawf. Ac oedd o'n medru rhoi blas ar gymaint o bwysau oedd yn cael ei rhaid ar ei ysgwyddau nhw I fynd allan a ennill parch y genedl yn ôl. Maen nhw'n dîm sydd yn gorfforol iawn. Maen nhw'n prawd iawn o hunan fel tîm rygbi, fel cenedl. Felly, da ni'n ymwybodol fydden nhw'n mwy penderfynol byth I ddod allan ar dydd Sadwrn a profi pwynt I pawb. Felly, mae hyn o'n ddigon I ni, da ni'n gwybod fe rhaid I ni codi'n gêm, oedden ni'n hapus efo sawl agwedd o'r perfformiad dydd Sadwrn dwytha, ond da ni'n gwybod mae rhaid ni gamu I fyny unwaith eto, a gyda ni'n siŵr bod ni'n dechrau'n gry. Bydd yr 20 munud hanner awr agoriadol, os gallwn ni sefyll fyny I be maen nhw'n mynd I daflud ato ni am y cyfnod yna, yna fe gen I ni gyfle da I ddod allan a cael y fuddugoliaeth.
Jyst yn ôl ar y topic yma, wyt ti'n meddwl geith y fideo unrhyw effaith ar y ffordd, wel, geith y gêm ei dyfarnu, ti Sadwrn?
Na, gathon ni cyfarfod efo'r swyddogion y dyfarnwr ddoe, a gathon nhw'n dweud maen nhw'n ymwybodol, ond dydy hynna ddim yn mynd i ffeithio unrhyw benderfyniad, felly da ni'n gweld hynna fod yn broblem disadwn.
Pa mor falch i ti fel hyfforddwr y blaenwyr bod chi wedi llwyddo i gael y goruchafiaeth yna ymysg y blaenwyr yn wedig yn y sgarmau symudol wythnos diwetha, ardaloedd sy'n draddodiadol yn cryfderau i Affrica?
Ie, na, hapus iawn. Gathon ni'n dechreuad agoriadol gorau posib, ond y reswm am dan hynny, ond da ni wedi siarad a trafod ynglyn â sut gallwn ni wella ar hynny, ond yn bendant nathon ni gorffan llawer cryfiach. Hapus iawn efo sut dath yr ail hanner, a manteisio ar diffyg disgyblaeth nhw yn amddiffyn yr sgarmau symudol. Oedd hwnna'n rhywbeth gathon ni llawer o lwyddiant allan ohon'r agwedd yna, felly dwi'n siŵr fydden nhw wedi edrych ar yr agwedd yna, fydden nhw wedi gwella, dod lawr i diffyg disgyblaeth unigolion, ddweud y gwir, felly mae'n rhaid i ni fod yn agorau unwaith eto, a falle gofyn gwahanol cwestiynau ohonyn nhw.
A faint o challenge mae wedi bod yn feddyliol i chi'r wythnos yma, a falle i beidio feddwl mae 2 siawns, mae 2 gyfle i ennill y gyfres, achos fel ni wedi sôn bydd Affrica yn desbryd yn benderfynol o ennill. Ydw e'n anodd i chi gyrraedd yr un lle yn feddyliol?
Na, da ni wedi gwneud yn siŵr bod y neges yna yn mynd allan yn glir i chwaraewyr. Mae hon yn gêm enfawr yn y gyfres. Mae yna gyfeiriad wedi cael ei wneud tuag at be ddigwyddodd yn Awstralia 20 mlynedd yn ôl, lle nath y llewod ennill y prawf cyntaf wedyn mynd ymlaen i golli yr ail a'r trydydd, felly dysgu gwersi o'r daith yna, o'r profiad yna, felly da ni'n mwy na ymwybodol. Mae'n rhaid i ni fanteisio'r y cyfle yma a mynd amdani at disadwn a peidio rhoi cyfle arall i'r Springboks.
A dwi ddim yn disgwyl ti ail adrodd y llythyr na, ni'n gwybod bod Dan Big yn ffit ac yn holliach. Faint o hwb yw bod e'n ôl yn y crys rhif 10?
Ie, na, mae'r bennig gêm a pob wedi creu argraff ar pawb yn sut mae wedi bod yn mynd o gwmpas i waith. Fel unigolyn, mae'n siarad yn dda, mae'n edrych ar ôl i gorff. Oedd o'n y pwll bore yma, y pwll oer sydd tu allan. Neu'n siŵr bod o'n cael y cyfle gorau i fod ar ei ora disadwn, felly hapus iawn gweld o'n ôl yn y tîm.
A jyst yn ôl, a pa newidiadau ni'n disgwyl o De Affrica, yn amlwg maen nhw wedi newid i props, yr wythwr, 6 blaenwr ar y fainc, bydd e'n fwy o challenge i'ch pac chi?
Bydd, dwi'n meddwl maen nhw wedi troi at yr ochr corfforol yna. Dyna be nathon nhw nôl yn 1974. Nath o'n gweithio iddyn nhw yn y flwyddyn yna, gobeithio wnaeth o'n gweithio iddyn nhw flwyddyn yma chwaith. Ond na, maen nhw'n mynd i dod ar yn ôl ni yn y sgram, yn y sgarmau symudol, adl y dacl. Dwi'n gweld nhw'n newid i gêm, dwi'n meddwl na jyst canolbwyntio ar wneud be nathon nhw disadwn dwytha, lot gwell. Felly, fe rhaid ni codi'n gêm i atal hynny.
Diolch yn fawr, Robin.
Diolch yn fawr.